Brother Keith, we are live.
No, we're not. Are we what?
We're live, man. We're there.
You know, I gotta start a better sleep schedule, Joel. I went out and had a bite to eat. And I got to tell you, have you ever been to Miller's out there in the Granite Row Mall?
Yeah.
Miller's?
Yeah, we were there one time last year, I think, probably just before the shutdown, probably back in February.
Darn good hamburger. You know, it's the usual 3.5 pounds, but it's handcrafted and all that kind of stuff. So I had that. I was in bed by 8 o'clock, and I'm telling you, I still couldn't get out of bed. Excuse me 1 second. You
had too much food, didn't you? All right, folks. While Keith is taking care of business over on that side of the room, today we're going to talk. I got a ladder issue. Well, today, of course, I got to clean out the gutters. So I wanted to share with you my little giant ladder and my new attachment that I got there, new/old. And then Keith will do a little talking about the leaking toilet we had in our house and how we remedied that situation.
Okay. All right, well, I got to go throw the phone in the creek. So run our opening credits. Grab your coffee, folks. Going to be ready to go. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you in a second.
All right, here we go, folks.
From the Somerset Studios in Westchester, Pennsylvania, it's Smack and Jack Live with your co-hosts Keith and Joel Wenderman.
Jack up your income, smack it in the face. Jack it up, jack it up, jack it up, smack it.
Okay, talk about fake news. We are certainly not completely broadcasting from Somerset Studios, and we're not necessarily smacking debt in the face, but it all kind of rhymes and sounds good, brings out the crowd, right?
We will have a new theme for you, although I do like all those harmonies, Joel. I got to tell you.
Yeah, pretty good, huh? The only thing in that music that is not authentic is the percussion. That was a track that came with GarageBand.
Remember Phil Collins' version of "Can't Hurry Love"? The video, "Can't Hurry Love."
Yeah.
Well, he did it. He did all the instruments himself.
Oh, okay.
Because he's just that fascinating a musician. And on the video, he's standing, and it's like the old Motown black and white, and there's like 6 or 7 of them singing and all that kind of stuff. And on this, the intro, that's you, Brother Joel, doing everything except for the. Didn't the girls do something in the background on that, or?
I tried.
No, okay, there must have been something else you did with it. Tara's on. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning, Tara. So the only problem with that type of recording, Keith, is when you take it out on the road, things get a little tough because you got to find your musicians to be your backing band.
Yes, exactly. Right. You only do it once, and you can't do it live.
All right, Keith. So let's get moving here.
Speaking of coronavirus,
as I said you all right there, brother? As I said on the outset,
hey, Jim's on. Morning, Jim.
Let's take a look at. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's take a look at this. And I did want to do this. We have to get used to having ourselves reversed, so when we're back in the studio, we're on the correct side of each other. Right?
Is that the way we are in the studio?
This is the way it needs to be, so that when we're in the studio, you're over there. When I point
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because when we were in the studio a couple weeks ago, when I looked this way, you were actually over there.
Looking out the window or something. Yes. Okay.
When I watched the replay, it was I was like scratching my head. I was like, man, this is really weird.
Quite funny. Hey, Joey's on.
Okay, so let's do a little screen share here, Keith.
All right.
And I'll show you my little giant ladder. And you remember this beast of a ladder, right, Keith? We've talked about it a few times.
Beast it is. I wonder if they still sell this thing, because I remember there used to be infomercials all day long about this thing. And
yeah, Yeah, they do sell it. It's a little bit, they've upgraded it a little bit, made things a little bit easier here and there with the levers and so forth. But as you can imagine, today's a nice day. I'm not at the mountain house today, so I have to clean out gutters. Keith, I went for a nice motorcycle ride last Sunday.
Oh, did you?
It was very nice. But unfortunately, I probably should have been cleaning out the gutters at that point because, well, we had quite a bit of rain this week, didn't we? Yeah. And and the rain and the filled up gutters reminded me that I had a little bit too much leisure time last weekend. So
you can't work around the clock, Brother Joel. You can't work.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, see, if you look at the bottom of the ladder, so I want to talk about, see where it says leg leveler. I don't know if you can make that out.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So I used to have just one of them, and that's so that when the ground's unlevel, you can, level the ladder. However, if your leveler is on the wrong side, then you got to take it off and put it on the other side. Well, do you know, Keith, that on Craigslist, about 2 months ago, somebody had listed a leg leveler for sale. Okay. I was like, get out of here. Right. So I let it sit. It started at $35. I was like, yeah, that's kind of a lot. He came all the way down to $10 for that.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, I am on that. And even what's better, he lived out by King of Prussia or something. And it worked out that he had to go down to the shore one day. So he stopped by my house and dropped it off.
Wow. Good.
Yeah. So I gave him $20 for it.
All right. Nice.
So now.
So they only come with a one leveler.
Well, they actually come with no leveler. However, when I bought it, the deal was you get 2 accessories for free. So I took the leg leveler plus the standing platform, the little platform you can attach to the, well, guess how many times I've used that platform, Keith?
Probably none.
0.
Yeah.
0 times. Yeah. However, I use the leveler a lot. So all these years I've been thinking, man, I should have taken 2 leg levelers instead of the platform. So now I have it. So adding a little bit extra weight to the ladder, now I have 2 of them on there.
Yeah, but you don't have to move. Yes, very good. That's a good.
It's just going to make things slightly more convenient, quicker.
Right.
Okay, what else is going on? Oh, Keith, look at this.
Now, where is that?
Yeah, now, folks, you might look at this picture and think, boy, Steph and Joel bought another house to renovate, and boy, look at that! What a mess that is. Well, folks, that is actually in the kitchen in the house that we live in every single day.
House of media. Now you've had problems with this for some time, and you couldn't pinpoint it. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, you remember it was actually a few years ago that there was a little staining on the ceiling, and I called a contractor who did all the bathroom work, and he said, it might be condensation. In the summertime you're running out cold water a lot, and I thought, oh, okay, that could be it because it wasn't consistent. So anyway, back over the summer, back in July, I think. Somebody flushed the toilet upstairs, and lo and behold, there was drips come through the ceiling. I was like, all right, it's got to be the toilet. I mean, it's got to be the drain or something.
Right.
So 2 days ago, Keith, we've gone all that time without using this toilet. Talk about getting right on it, right?
Yeah, well, that's
actually, I did call this plumber like 3 times, and the first time he forgot about us. The second time, when he finally got back to me, it was right when Stephanie was having her surgery. So I said, let's not do it right now.
Right.
Because we didn't want people coming and going from the house. And then I called him again. He said, all right, I'll be over sometime this week. Well, he forgot about us again. So here we are, like months after I first called him. So he came in and he said he wasn't real hopeful that it was the wax seal. But anyway, when he did remove the toilet, he said that the shining hope here is that the toilet was not bolted down very securely. He said there was a lot of room left to go on those bolts, and he's hoping at it because it was actually sitting there a bit loose.
Okay.
That's why it was leaking, because he said otherwise, if it's not the wax seal, then it's the soil pipe, and we're going to be taking apart this kitchen, and we're going to be taking apart the bathroom to replace that, that drainage piece. Yeah. So I am really hoping it is the wax seal and that it just wasn't bolted down enough. Now, he flushed it like 20 times when he was here, and that was a couple days ago. So I'm hoping that was the fix, and I'll clean this up here. And I can't believe there's that much dirt on the top of that cabinet door. That is disgusting. Can you see the dirt on there?
No.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Right in here. That is gross.
Yeah.
That is really gross. I have to clean that. It's disgusting. Anyway. All right, Keith. So those are our
when they did that, when he put the new bathroom in, did he replace that soil pipe, or was that the existing soil pipe?
Okay, a little story on that. The actual soil pipe that goes straight down, well, we replaced that about 14 or 15 years ago because that actually split. It was a cast iron pipe.
Right, okay.
And it split. So we replaced that, but we didn't replace the pieces that go to the toilet. You know how they come in?
Right.
We didn't replace those pieces because there was no leak there. The guy said it looked good.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's all cast iron. So
yeah,
I'm hoping that holds true. So anyway, Keith, that's enough of our woes.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go to the woes of our nations, our nation woes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I did want to point out here is that Trump did win North Carolina and he got 15 votes there.
That was also rigged, wasn't it? Because
I'm sure there were fraudulent votes there, but we don't hear of any lawsuits going on in North Carolina.
Well, I think what the Democrats did, they didn't want to win all the wins. So I think they planted a couple of bloopers, as you will, as it were.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point, Keith. There are a lot of allegations of voter fraud, and I'm curious to know as to how is it that all the fraud, the voting fraud, has gone in Biden's
one direction? Yeah. Yes.
How is that? Because a lot of Republicans won their seats back, or they. The first time Republicans won, who were on the same ticket as Biden. How is it possible that those were not fraudulent votes, but Biden's were?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good question. But not being a political analyst, I don't know these. You just have to throw up these questions and let our audience.
Yeah.
And I know Joey's just on, and he's very heavily into politics since a young boy. Joe. He ran for mayor of Media back in 1980. He had a safety pin in his ear. It's the only thing that kept him out of the race. Where's the wah button? Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going with me.
I was going with you there, Keith. Good job, Joey. Good job. All right. So this is I was watching this video yesterday, just kind of getting some information. Two things about this: 130 Secret Service, over 130 Secret Service officers were infected or are quarantining, and a lot of these people were the ones traveling around to the rallies and so forth. So it's suspected that they, most of these agents contracted the virus from those rallies.
The rallies, super spreaders, they're calling them.
Yeah. Anyway, the reason why I actually put this picture in is because reading through the comments, people were saying this guy in the picture has his mask over his entire face.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that is actually kind of funny looking. So I'm not quite sure what the deal is with that particular mask there.
Actually, it's probably a Photoshop. They got a stock picture of somebody standing, and they put a mask on him.
That is true. That is possibly true. Okay, so moving on. Let's see what we got here. I guess that was the end of that. So let me do another share here, Keith. This is regarding the allegations of dead people. The dead voters in Michigan.
Oh, yes, right.
So this is from the BBC. So what they did was, they found this list. There was, a list of 10,000 people who were confirmed deceased. And this particular tweet here, and this is kind of going out all over, is these people are confirmed dead, but they're still voting. So what the BBC did was actually do some research. I know that's not always favored in particular parts of the nation, but they actually did some research.
Right.
And what they found is that you can take this list of people who have died with their names and all that stuff, but if you don't do the research, then you're going to claim that people who are dead voted, but there are people alive who actually have the same name, maybe the same birth month as those people who died. So the BBC actually contacted a lot of the people who were supposedly on this dead person list. And like this guy in the picture here, his name is on this list of deceased people. So they're saying that, his vote shouldn't count. Well, this guy is obviously alive.
Pretty happy for being dead. Yeah.
Yeah. He looks good. So they did find that there was, they did find that there was maybe one or two of the people. They only contacted, I think, about 30 some people. They checked out about 30 some people. But only one, I believe one of those people actually died. And I think that was somebody who voted, who was 100 years old and voted back in September, but had died since. And they're not clear if that vote was counted. It should not have been counted. So anyway.
I don't know about that. The guy was alive when he voted.
Right.
Do you have to be alive at the election if you vote before? But anyway, that's the one person. So yeah, that's
yeah. So again, to say that things like that don't happen. The other case, now there have been 19, 20 cases that they've lawsuits that the Trump team has brought forward, and 19 of them have been kicked out. The one that was upstanding in Philadelphia was that somebody approved ballots that came in after the deadline and shouldn't have been approved or something like that. So those were tossed out. The last thing I want to show, Keith, is you can support Trump, the Trump Defense Fund. However, per the GOP, the breakdown, 60% of any donation to anything that you give to the Trump Defense Fund goes to Save America PAC. And that's like a new foundation that Trump just established, supposedly for his next presidency run.
Yeah, I heard, yes, 2024, yes.
The next 40% goes to an RNC account. And once a donor reaches a maximum contribution, money will go to legal accounts for Trump and the RNC. So just, I don't know, it just kind of goes on and on and on there. But
so could you, what's the guy, what's his lawyer's name?
Giuliani.
So could you just bypass all that and just send a check right to Giuliani?
Yeah, maybe it could.
I think I'm going to do that, and I'm going to memo it. The bottom, he said what it says for. If you're worried about fraud and all this kind of stuff, please sue your dental hygienist, because I got buddies that have. Remember Charlie?
Do remember Charlie?
Charlie had better teeth than Giuliani. This guy, he could, how much wood could a woodchuck Giuliani chuck if he was going to chuck wood? Well, he's been chucking a lot of it lately. All these lawsuits he's bringing on, he's definitely needs to sue somebody about his mouth.
Where is it? Oh, I can't find it.
Rudy.
Why can't I find it?
Rudy with those teeth so shiny.
Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, it's just going on and on and on. Let's move on, Keith.
Yeah, if we're done with the political thing, I've got one axe to grind here, and this is true. We're on the precipice of something gigantic that nobody's talking about. That maybe we might have a female vice president, which I'm from the old days. Females should be pregnant, barefoot, and in the kitchen. When I get home from collecting my welfare check, my unemployment check, I want somebody cooking me breakfast, dinner, pour me a PBR, making sure when I, slop stuff on the floor that's cleaned up. All right, I want that. And she may be not 100%. Can we even say this on the show, Joel? I mean,
I don't know.
She might be of mixed ethnicity. Where in the history of the United States of America is that even
right? Remotely acceptable, right?
Our dear Lord JC, which he was the only Caucasian male in Northern Africa in the last 5,000 years.
That's true. That is
okay,
true.
Now can't we just keep it that way?
Yep.
All right, that's it. Let's get on to something funny. It's great times ahead of us. Whichever way.
Actually, Keith, I did want to make mention of that because that's something that I think probably we overlooked. I think that's very exciting that we have.
I think it's very exciting too. I remember. Do you remember the old Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher?
Oh yeah.
In the 70s. This is like 45 years ago. England, little England, that's been trying to climb out of the World War II, the economic effects that war has had on that country for 70 years. They had a prime minister that was a woman 45 years ago.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, exciting times, man. I think it's going to be good. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Good to see you, Myron.
We're off of our high horse here.
Yeah, well, there's just so much to get. It's just crazy, but things are looking good. Talk about Corona. What else we have going on, Joel? As usual, I'm blabbering on and on and on. There's talk that they're going to go virtual. I think Montgomery County is going to go virtual for their schooling. What's you and Stephanie?
Right now, we are still in hybrid. There is definitely talk. What it comes down to, the point that's being made at this time, where are you? Here we go. Is that the transitions, there has been very limited cases, if any, of transition in school.
Transition or transmission?
Transmission, sorry. Transmission of the virus in school that we know of.
Okay.
Most of the transmissions that we know of have come outside of school.
Now, is this your district, or are you talking school?
I think that's kind of, well, our district portrays that, as well as Westchester and Rose Tree Media. And other districts who still have hybrid are kind of going to bat with that kind of mindset.
Okay.
Which for me, both as a teacher and a parent, of course, you're concerned. However, it is, I would like to keep the kids in school as long as we can, even my own girls. It is definitely beneficial.
No, yeah.
However, we'll accept whatever comes down the pike as far as what they tell us to do, but or as long as we can stay in school on the 2 days a week that the kids are there, then
right.
I will say in my school there are declining numbers in person, so parents are beginning to just kind of keep their kids home at this point. So
okay.
We're going to Thanksgiving, we're going into the holidays, and
yes,
this is a tough time. You want to be together with your family. You think you're okay with a certain group, and it turns out, well, somebody in that certain group had virus, and we're all susceptible to just making that one little mistake. And,
yes. Yep.
Nobody's beyond that. So
yes.
Anyway, all right, Keith.
All right, let's go. What else we got going here? We got running out of time per usual.
Yeah, so. I know. Folks, if you're getting anything out of the show today, we would love for you to smack the like button and love the love button. Give us a share, a comment. Make it a good comment, make it a bad comment. Whatever you want to do.
make it a comment. Hey, I love the backdrop today, Joel. And I was just thinking the other day going to work, all those leaves are on the ground now.
Yep.
It's I was sitting there waiting to go in the other day, and it was rainy and misty and all that kind of stuff. And it's winter. The leaves are gone. Everything's gray. And
there are a few trees, like I have some Japanese maples that are just,
yes.
You can't see it out the back here, of course, but the red one is about half and half.
Okay.
Yep. And some of my good neighbors, they have taken up to blowing their leaves right into the street, and that's where they stay.
Yes. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And that's another campaign. We're going to have to talk about that maybe next week. Let's get, we were talking about for months and months, get the vote out. Now we got to get the leaves out.
Yeah.
So put them on your property. You've done your job.
I don't know what I've been doing all these years, Keith. I actually now I'm mulching the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Mulching, kind of leave them there. Because we have a lot of bare spots on our yard now because of the tree work.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I do bag them. I bag them, put them out on Wednesdays for pickup. But I don't know why I've been doing that for so many years. I didn't realize to just, spread them all over the street.
Yeah. Well, what a good idea it is. Bagging them is good because you get them all in one place. You drag them down to the end of the driveway and you dump the bags out, and then you go back up and refill the bags.
I could do that.
Recycling. It's good for the environment. And,
Keith, let's get on to our trivia.
Yes, let's do that. Trivia time.
We'll make the screen as big as possible for you here.
Thank you very much. Let me grab my glasses, and I lost a pair this week. So anyway, let's do it, Joel.
All right. Can you see any of that?
Yes. Okay. These are all politically.
Yeah, these are political.
Okay. Who became both a vice president and president of the United States without ever being elected to their office?
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so folks, this is trivia question number 1. All right, make sure you put down number 1.
Vice president and president, whatever ever being elected. Okay. Number 2 is let's keep moving that so I go blind here, Joel.
All right.
Who was the first female prime minister of a European country? First female president. Kind of narrows it down about prime minister, and they're not all prime ministers. So that's number 2. Number 3, which U.S. president issued the Emancipation Proclamation? And if you don't know that, we should probably all go back to school. We're going on a bus with Joel on Monday. Is this number 4 here?
This is number 4. This is the last one.
The last one. Okay. The Bill of Rights contains how many of the First Amendments? Wait a minute. The Bill of Rights contain how many of the First Amendments of the United States Constitution?
Yeah.
Bill of Rights. Okay. How many? That's a tough one there.
All right. So who was the vice president who was not actually elected? Number 1. First female prime minister of a European country. Number 2. U.S. president issued the Emancipation Proclamation is number 3. And number 4, Bill of Rights contains how many of the First Amendments to the United States? Okay, so we'll come back to them in a few minutes. Keith, do you want to do your...
Barbara and Myron are... Barbara and Myron, we're going to have a...
yeah, I know.
A trivia off between Barbara and Myron because they're
I agree.
Quite
you want to do your day in history?
Yeah, sure. I got a couple things. Let's bring that up. No music.
Sorry, I'm a little bit off today, Keith.
Okay, don't worry about it, Joel. Let's do this real quick. 1969, Apollo 12, the second manned mission to the surface of the moon, is launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and with astronauts Charles Conrad Jr., Richard Gordon, and Alan Bean. President Nixon was watching from the pad. Let's see. What else do we have? 1882. Frank Leslie kills Billy the Kid in a gunslinging shootout.
Wow. Billy the Kid, an actual
Billy the Kid. 1941, Cary Grant stars in Hitchcock's Suspicion. 1941, the movie was released. November 14th, 1941. Tell me what's 41? Is that 70 years ago or is that 80 years ago?
I think that would be about 80 years ago, right?
79 years ago. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Cary Grant was still one of the most charismatic male actors on the planet. And I think everybody will back me up on that. Besides our buddy Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we have one more here. Hold on one second. In 1776, an English newspaper announces Benjamin Franklin has joined the rebellion in America.
Oh.
Yeah. He goes, he's like, look, I'm going to get a plumbing company and it's going to be in America. It's not going to be in Britain. Get it? It's a little.
I like it.
I know there's electricity up there, and I know that if I put a key on the end of this kite, but I got to do it in Philly. I'm not going to do it in London because with all the fog and they're all drunk with the gin and the wasn't that the gin wars or was that the 1800s when everybody was on gin? Anyway, all right, what else we got, Joel?
Keith, you're filled with such randomness. I just hard for me to keep track.
Wow, look at that. Myron has conceded already. Now, how difficult was that, Myron?
Yeah, right. See how easy that was?
Yeah, we all respect Myron still. That's okay. We all love Myron. But he has said, look, I am not the smartest on the show. So that's great.
All right, Keith, we have 3 jokes. We'll do our 3 jokes. These are really just bad jokes.
Good.
Just bad jokes.
Good.
And
we
we'll
love
go
bad
back
jokes.
to our trivia, and then we have to get out of here for today because we all have work to do.
Yeah,
and
we are all busy
right?
today. Yes.
Okay. What kind of trains do ballerinas take?
What?
Choo-choo trains. Okay. Number 2. What did the fisherman say to the magician?
What?
Pick a card. Any card.
That is good. That is
Card.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
all right. Now, this is a long joke here. Kind of long. A cowboy traveled from Arizona to Texas on Tuesday, stayed for 5 days and 5 nights, and traveled back to Arizona on Tuesday. How was that possible?
1975. That's not it? Okay, what? I ruined it. All right, let's read the whole
I don't know. That was so random. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's I got confused.
Let me just read again, and I'll give the answer straight away here, okay? A cowboy traveled from Arizona to Texas on Tuesday, stayed for 5 days and 5 nights, and traveled back to Arizona on Tuesday. How is that possible? His horse was named Tuesday. I'm sorry, folks. But I was kind of in a rush today, and I couldn't edit as well as I like.
Very good, Joel.
Keith, let's get back to our trivia answers so we can get out of here and let everybody go on with their lives here. We'll go back to our screen share. Let's see, where are we with our screen?
Yeah, we got a lot of people chiming. Well, actually, yeah.
Okay, so was this our first one? Who became both a vice president and president of the United States without ever being elected to either office?
We got Gerald Ford. Is it Jerry Ford?
Yeah, I do see Gerald Ford over there. Answer is Gerald Ford.
Right.
Okay.
So he wasn't elected. He wasn't elected vice president either. Is that?
Yeah, interesting. I have to do a little research on that because it's
Yeah.
kind of fuzzy. I do remember it's something about that, but I'll have to do some research. Who was the first female prime minister of a European country? And I
we have
see
the old Iron Lady. We have Maggie Thatcher somewhere, and that's what
I
I
do
would
see Thatcher and Margaret Thatcher.
All right.
Well done. It's kind of funny, Kate. You were just talking about her, right? Before any of this came up in our trivia.
Yes.
Which U.S. president issued the Emancipation Proclamation? I'm hoping we know this one. Abraham Lincoln.
Abe.
Well done.
Yeah.
Bill of Rights contains how many of the first amendments to the United States Constitution? Okay. I see 10. I see 39. I was going to say like 21 or something like that, but 10. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
All right. Good
Very
job.
good.
After I see some of the answers, I feel kind of foolish trying to interject my own answer.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not what I was thinking at all. And of course, what I was thinking was completely wrong. So, all right, folks, I think we need to get out of here.
Yes, we do. Thanks very much for stopping by. Hey, Joe, are we going to do a Thanksgiving show next week?
I guess that would be next week, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's the following.
Yeah.
So let's make sure we get together next Saturday morning. All right.
Indeed. All right, folks. Go ahead, Keith.
Okay. Remember, folks, you deserve a thought of your own. So remember,
be in touch to learn, laugh, and live. Thank you for joining us on Smack and Jack Live. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for stopping by, folks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Jack up your knees, smack check it out, smack jack up your knees, smack jack it up, smack in the face. Jack up your income, smack death in the face. Check it up, check it.